Hope you guys having a great day so far. Welcome back to another episode of Future Money. We got a lot to talk about today. We're talking about Bitcoin's top. We're talking about where cryptocurrency is going as a whole, where XRP is going. We're going to talk about AI. We're going to talk about Nvidia, some other great stocks. So, like I said, I hope you guys are having a great day. It's Wednesday. What's the date? Uh, oh yes, second. My birthday was 2 days ago. It was second. So yesterday was April Fool's. So sent out an email and it was a big joke. So hopefully some people thought it was real, but it was just a joke about your card being charged a ridiculous amount. So, don't feel crazy. Let me see. What's going on here? So, I don't know if we don't have those updated figures yet, but so first thing I want to talk about, and we talked about this last night on the Crypto Trends podcast. We talked about, are we at Bitcoin's top? Because a lot of people are getting discouraged. There's a lot of people giving up. Some people just say, I don't want to do this anymore. And this is what separates the people who end up being successful and people who aren't, is that they tend to give up. And that's the thing, is that investing, I try to make it exciting and fun, but to be honest, 100%, is that investing is not always exciting. You know, there's in a year, you may have like 8, 9 days where it's exciting and everything's going up a lot. The other days are maybe nothing or retraction or just stagnation. But the problem is a lot of people can't see that. They think investing is like they see on the TV, is that it's bam, bam, we're all making this money every day. It's not like that. It's not even like that in the day trading, floors in Wall Street. It's not even like that then. But the media and people will have you believe that. A lot of it's just boring. It's learning and growing and trying to get better at what you do in the off times. You get to those exciting points. And it is exciting while it's happening, but it's not exciting most of the time. But it is exciting to make a lot of money. So somebody says, definitely got me. It was funny. Good morning from Fajardo. You in Fajardo? I like Fajardo. So I just bought a house in Guayama. I don't know if you know that, but I like it too. It's in the mountains, away from everybody. I don't want to talk to nobody. I like to be in the forest, in Tennessee or in Puerto Rico. I don't really like the city life that much. I do like the city. I like going to New York, walking around, but I'd rather live in el campo, como la gente de la isla, like they say in Puerto Rico. I'd rather live out in the island. So I want to talk about what's happening with Bitcoin. A lot of people are thinking that Bitcoin's top. People are arguing with me and other people, including my partner in Crypto Trends, Robert Croak. They're angry. Bitcoin is already topped out. Now, most of the metrics say that Bitcoin isn't topped out. Now, we have to focus on Bitcoin because now we like XRP, we like Ethereum, other coins, but if Bitcoin doesn't do well, nothing will do well. So you have to focus on Bitcoin, right? Is that it got to 2009 and then it dropped back down to 85. It's not that bad, really. It went up from around 50,000, 85,000 in less than 6 months. And it was a little bit of a retraction, right? 109 wasn't enough. Long-term holders didn't sell. That's the thing about it. When it got to 109, most Bitcoin buyers from 2000 to 2022 were still holding, even with the major gains, right? And we know that because we can analyze the blockchain. It's transparent. We can go in there and look. So we saw that even with those gains, a lot of people that bought in the last 5 years did not sell. These holders bought at an average of $3,600 to $69,000, and most of them still hold despite the huge upside. They didn't cash out, and they're just down 3% since November. So other holders have exited, like the older holders from 7 years ago, they sold at the 2024 peak. Short-term holders aren't short mania yet. They sold off 40% of their Bitcoin, far below the 70-90% seen in past cycle tops. This isn't the top. This is not the top. Data shows that we're in a what they call a distributed bull run. That it's not a blow-off top like the last cycle was a blow-off top, in which we saw severe retractions. We saw people panicking. We saw those long-term and short-term holders getting out of the market. We're not seeing that right now. We're not nowhere near the top right now. Every bull cycle, we talked about this last week. I still got it up. I'll show it again. Every halving cycle, if you look at these 4 lines, that's every halving cycle. Every halving cycle has almost done the exact same pattern. Every single one. We see a small gain, some retraction. The naysayers panic, try to get you off your positions. And then right after that, we see the exponential growth. It happens a few days or months or weeks later. Right? Fidelity, one of the biggest banks in the world, says that the Bitcoin market isn't done. BlackRock says it's not done. A lot of Bank of America says it's not done. A lot of the big banks out there, really most of the big banks say it's not over. Now, the small influencers, the people who don't like Bitcoin, the people, the gold bugs that believe in other stuff and stocks, yeah, they say it's over because they want it to be over because it's a threat to what they're doing. But the people who are unbiased, objective, the people who understand, they're all on accord that it's not over. So Fidelity says we're still in Bitcoin's what's called acceleration phase. That we haven't got to the blow off top, like I said. We're in acceleration phase. Past cycles suggest more growth in the future. Now we look at the chart again. We see that every cycle has had almost the same pattern. Previous tops came around for day 240 to 280 of the phase. Now we're only at day like 240 right now. We're at about the same place that the previous tops, we're very close. There's a lot of upside ahead. Institutions are buying right now. They're accumulating. Michael Saylor and his group just bought $1.9 billion worth of Bitcoin. GameStop, Mara, Japanese countries are all buying Bitcoin. Bank of America, all these, JP Morgan, all these big companies are buying Bitcoin, buying XRP, buying Ethereum, buying other cryptos, buying Solana. You don't think they know what they're talking about? I promise you they know what they're talking about. But the problem is that they know they can get you with emotion. Now, before we continue, I need you guys to subscribe to the channel and please like the video. We got 900 people in here, but we only have 54 likes. I have to ask you guys every day for likes. Makes me feel like a street beggar. But it's okay. I don't mind doing it. I had to beg for a lot of stuff in my life, and that's what I had to do. I had somebody used to work for me. It was a long time ago. I'm not gonna say it. And the dude, everybody that's ever worked for me is a million. Everybody, to be honest, every person that's ever been around me in a working capacity for more than 2 years is a millionaire now. Every single person. Every single person. So, I mean, so some of these people, they made them, like I got my business partner, he made millions off our biggest acquisition. He just retired, went on his life. We still do business together. We still got companies together, but he didn't get an ego. Some people get ego. Some people don't. That's how it is. So one dude got an ego, and he said, as soon as he got a couple of 100,000, I ain't begging for nothing from them. I'm not gonna, he called his son, I'm not getting sun no more. I'm not gonna let people talk to me like this. Your entire life, if you want to move ahead, somebody's gonna put you down. You have to beg somebody for something. Nobody's on the top. You don't think Trump has to beg the voters for votes? Everybody has a boss. Every single person on this planet. And you can't escape that. Anybody that's attempting to escape that will not be successful long term. There is somebody out there that you do have to report to. There will always be somebody you will have to ask for something for. There will always be somebody. It's no way one day, I'm going to be my own boss and I'm not going to have to listen to nobody. Yeah, you will. If you want to be successful, if you want to move to the next level, you're going to have to be under somebody. You're going to have to listen to what somebody says. You're going to have to ask somebody for something. Somebody's going to have some type of power in your life that you're going to have to respect and ask for. That's just how the world works. If you try to escape that, then you'll fail dramatically because that's not the way the world works. Ego has to go. You cannot have it ego. You can't run around walking around like you're something. Ego, it will kill you, especially if you get it too early. See, he didn't have to beg, he only have to lie. I mean, regardless of politics. Every presidential candidate has to ask. I remember when Obama used to run, he would say at the end of his speeches, look, I'm just going to go ahead and say it. He was to say, I'm asking you directly for your vote. He would just ask directly. I'm asking you for your vote. You'd have to ask people for something because somebody always has power in your life. And you can't run around thinking that that's what I'm writing in my book, actually, the new second edition. That's why a lot of people fail in life. I need you guys to please subscribe to the channel and please like the video. I'd really appreciate that. If you're new, subscribe to the channel. So one thing I want to talk about is GameStop. Now, GameStop is a dead company. And I said that back in the day. I said that back when GameStop was doing all that stuff in COVID, it went from like $2 to $500. They were pumping it and people made a lot of money. GameStop go into GameStop. 70% of the store is disc-based games. I got an Xbox at home. It doesn't even have a disc slot. And I'm gonna tell you a story. So I went into GameStop and I saw an older version. I think it was like 2018 2K. And I said, Mama, it was only like $5. I said, it still plays. I'm gonna get this because I haven't played 2K in like 10 years. Not really. I used to play it a lot back in the day, but I haven't played it in like 10 years. Been too busy. So I said, I'm gonna get this older version. Just because I don't want to buy the new one. It's like $80. I'll buy this little $5 version, just play it and get used to it again and move my way back up. Just playing a little bit. I got the disc and my son said, there is no disc on that game, Poppy. And I said, come on, man, it's a disc. I saw the slit on it. You just put it in the slit. He said, there's no disc on that game, Poppy. I said, I'm gonna buy the game. You just didn't see the slit. So I bought the game, went home, and I tried to put it in the slit. And the slit was an air slit, like the airflow. I was like, yeah, I told you there was no disc in this game, Poppy. I was like, I guess you was right. I'm looking at the game, and then I just took the loss, man. But most systems don't even have slots. But yet GameStop's entire model is selling disc-based games. Now, even if it's not dead, it's a dying model. And they're not gonna have the strength to move over to anything else. They have no other model. They're supposed to be dead. They were going bankrupt, and Wall Street Bets targeted them because they were heavily shorted, which they should have been shorted, and made a bunch of money. Now, when they made that money, you got to remember, GameStop sold into that rush and made a bunch of money, billions and billions of dollars, and they also got a lot of attention. So they extended their life by like 10 years. So now GameStop, even though it's a dying company, has a lot of cash on hand that they can burn through. And of course, the CEOs, the people that work there, all the people still making big salaries, they're not just going to let the company go. They're just going to run the money out. So that's what's happening right now. That's what's happening right now with GameStop. But the thing, what GameStop's trying to do right now is they're gonna, and this, I don't like the GameStop specifically is doing this, but I do like the fact that companies are starting to think this way. Now, GameStop has completed a $1.5 billion private offering, convertible notes due in 2030, including an additional $200 million exercised by initial purposes. They're gonna use those proceeds to buy $1.5 billion of Bitcoin as part of its updated investment strategy. Now, GameStop is attempting to become an investment company, which is weird, and it's almost desperate. But the move like this aligns GameStop with companies like MicroStrategy did the same thing. MicroStrategy is a custom software company, not an investment company. They converted, and so GameStop saw what MicroStrategy did, and they may be able to convert themselves into that. I don't think this is good long term. One, because for these particular companies, because they're not investment companies. They're just trying to save their weak companies with Bitcoin, and people are cheering them on. But I think other companies could do this too, and I don't have a problem with it. But I just think GameStop specifically shouldn't be doing it. But I see it as it's a signal that companies will start adding Bitcoin to on their balance sheets. Now, you have to remember, we saw, it was news this entire week that states were opening Bitcoin strategic reserves. We know a month ago that Trump said that he would do that. We see these companies doing it. Now, we see all this positive news. XRP, 80% of Japan banks are going to get into it. We see the lawsuit being resolved. We see Bitcoin, things happening with Bitcoin. We see all these things. But then we look at the market. The market's stagnant. Nothing's happening. Sometimes it's retracting. These things do not make sense at all. The market seems manipulated. Now, I've told you guys for years that when we see a situation like this, there's only one thing that could be happening: accumulation. That's it. That's what's happening. And I've said it for years. If you've been following me for 4 or 5 years, I told you when things don't make sense in the marketplace, it's because you're so early that the retail hasn't even picked it up yet. So sometimes the market is being manipulated. Sometimes it's being manipulated psychologically or even physically inside the exchanges so that the big banks, the rich, and the elite can accumulate. And then once that accumulation phase is over, all of a sudden, they'll allow these assets to grow. So I need you guys to please subscribe to the channel and please like the video. We only got, we don't have 1,000 people in there today because it's not. But even if you pay attention to like my lives, right? Is that when the market's hot, I have 2,000 people in there. When it's low, I have 1,000. So on Instagram, I have 4,000 or 5,000 on my lives. When the market's hot, when they're not hot, 11,000. But that's what shows you how people think. People always come into the market at the wrong time, always, because they're living on emotion. Now I want to talk about XRP because there's things happening behind the scenes that a lot of people don't realize with XRP. I'm going to block this dude. I'm gonna block him after I address this now because I don't want to hide from it. He says so K, which he don't even have a picture to his name. He says, which of your XRP predictions over the last 3 months are you going to push today? 5, 8, 10, 20, whatever. He says a bunch of stuff, up to 10,000. So first of all, K, is that if you listen, which you probably not, your IQ is very low, so you probably not paying attention. You're just looking at headlines because that's the only reason you say this. That's what a lot of low IQ people do this because they will reject any kind of mental, thought. So they'll just read headlines because that's all their mind can really conceptualize. So he asked me which of my, okay, so now let's look at XRP. XRP was 40 cents 4 months ago. Now it's $2 and something. It's up 400%, 350% in 4 months. So that's not enough for most people. So the other predictions, 5, 8, 10, I said would be coming this summer. We haven't got to this summer yet. So you cannot say that I'm wrong yet. I was right so far. Now 10,000 in those bigger prices, I said in 10, 15 years. And people who've listened to me said that. I said, yeah, we can get to 10,000. It may take 10, 15, 20 years. I said it will be no time soon. Even 100 would take a couple of years, 3 years, 5 years. Now, none of this has happened yet. So you can't judge me on something that's not happened, but you can judge me on what has happened so far. And I've been extraordinarily right. Now, I've missed some because this market is weird, but there is nobody out there that has followed me for over 5 or 6, 7 years that can say that I haven't been 90% right in everything I've said. There's nobody that can say that. There's nobody. People on this channel, there's people right now listening they've turned into millionaires, changed their lives, that have made ridiculous amounts of money. And it's CNC and outside of the group. CNC is our trading group. You join the CNC.com if you want to. But people that don't even join my groups, they don't join anything. They don't come to the events. They just listen to me on social media. They've made ridiculous amounts of money. And it's a lot of people. And that's one thing I'm proud of. I'm not proud of the predictions, where this goes, where this doesn't go. I'm proud that people out there have made ridiculous amounts of money listening to what I talk about. And there's no way you could say that's not true. I'm the only one that have called out Oklo, that have called out Nvidia way before, that have called out Palantir when it was $6. They called out 50 stocks, 50 cryptos in the last. I told you exactly when. I've talked you through the halving. I told you in the last cycle down to the month when it would crash. There's nobody out there that can say I haven't done that. But now I'm going to go ahead and block you. Yeah, so K's gone forever. So nobody can say that. So I just want to address that because I don't want nobody to think I'm running. So somebody said there's impersonators in the CNC. Yeah, that's why we're moving to the app in a week. Discord is very insecure. There's nothing I can do about that. So I want to talk about Japan's crypto overhaul, which is a game changer for XRP. Now, XRP is rising in Japan. I don't know if a lot of you know. Make sure you research this. Don't just listen to me. 80% of banks will adopt XRP in Japan by 2025. XRP is gaining massive traction. By 2025, 80% of banks are expected to integrate Ripple's tech into their cross-border payment system, real-world adoption for global transfers. And also, during this same time, Japan is reclassifying crypto by 2026. Japan is proposing a major shift, moving crypto assets like Bitcoin from the Payment Services Act to the Financial Instruments Act. That's the same law that governs securities like stocks and bonds. What it means for crypto in Japan, this reclassification will bring crypto under stricter investment rules. That means the insider trading, formal oversight, new compliance standards. Now, this is bad for meme coins, but it's good for XRP because XRP has already passed all of this. That's what people don't realize about XRP is that XRP is the only crypto on earth that has the regulatory clarity and path free forward. They're the only ones. No one has went through what XRP has went through. No one on earth has went through all the checks and balances, the fighting, the shoring up the system, and making sure that it passes these things. XRP has. So whenever these regulations start to happen all over the world, there's going to be almost a evolution. You know, evolution works like this. Everybody knows about evolution, but the strong survive. The survival of the fittest. So once these laws start coming out, which they will all over the world, the only one that'll be strong enough to operate past those laws is XRP. And all of that money and all these meme coins and Pepes and all this stuff will be wiped out. And where do you think that money's going to go? It will be concentrated in the few cryptos that have that regulatory clarity. XRP will be one. Now, if we look at the whole crypto market, Bitcoin is around 60%, 40% is maybe another 20, 30% is in XRP. You take out the stable coins, but there's a lot of money out there that is distributed among multiple meme coins and all this stuff. All that will be wiped out one day. One day it will go away. I thought it was going to be this year or this administration, but one day it will go away. AE Tally Construction, I appreciate that. As an older investor, should I shift to a less aggressive portfolio while Trump is playing with the economy? I don't know how old you are, but if you're like 60, yeah, you should talk to a financial advisor, but you should probably be less aggressive after 60. It's still good to be aggressive, but you don't risk it. You got to start taking some of that money and putting it into less risky things, real estate investment trust, things like that, bonds. You got to start being a little bit less risky. It depends on how old you are. But I'm 40-something. I still take risk. I'll take risks till I'm 50, in my mid-50s, then I'll start slowing down. So this is really positive news for crypto, for XRP specifically. Anytime there's regulation all over the world, anytime there's something out there that says that, this country's going to regulate, this is good for XRP. Now, all the other cryptos, no. But XRP specifically, this is starting to create a much stronger use case for XRP. Now, I want to talk a little bit about Nvidia, AI stocks, and then we'll let you guys go for the day. So I need you guys, if you're new to the channel, please subscribe to the channel. If you're watching, please like the video. So I said, just saw your April Fool's good one. He can go dance bachata now. Yeah, he can dance bachata for the rest of his life now because he's not going to be here. Somebody says if we get past these past 3 months, Max will see. Yeah, we're gonna see stocks recover and crypto recover here soon. If you're already signed up, how do you re-register? I don't know what that means. Would you consider allowing us to use the new app at the same price we got into the CNC? Kareen, if you're in the CNC, the app comes with it. It's free to people that's out. But once the app drops, the price to join the CNC group is the app and everything else, live events. The Discord will still be there and the app. You can use all of that and the courses, the everything that's involved in that. But after I launched the app, we have to raise the price. The app took a lot of money to build, a lot, hundreds of thousands of dollars. So it is expensive, and it's a lot better. So, and we're hiring instructors and teachers now. When is the app? Well, the app just got approved last night on iOS Apple Store. So now we got to get it approved for, which is a lot shorter process on Android. So after that, we'll launch maybe in a week or at most 2. Thank you for accepting my LinkedIn connection, Gabrielle. Great, I appreciate you. So last thing I want to talk about here is that Palantir is overpriced. We're talking about AI stocks right now. We're going to move over to the stock market. I've been saying that for a while. Palantir is overpriced. Now, that doesn't mean that I didn't believe. I don't believe in that Palantir. That doesn't mean that I don't think it's great. It's just that when it was at $6, I saw the potential because we were in the software phase of AI. So, of course, buy it. So once Palantir gets, let's say Palantir is only worth $60. I don't know what it's worth. I had to check. I haven't looked at the fundamentals in a while, but let's say it's only worth 60. I understood how hype works in this market. So I understood that the hype would push it past its real value up to 100. So now if Palantir drops back to 60, where it's actually worth somewhere around 60, 70, people say it crashed. It didn't crash because it started out at 6. But right now, I don't know where Palantir is at. I need to look at it actually. We're above what Palantir's real value is. It's overpriced. So it's going to retract down to its real price. Now, Nvidia, on the other hand, is undervalued. So from this point on, Nvidia will do better than Palantir. Palantir is at 80. But I still think there's a lot of downside for Palantir. Palantir trades at 80, 78, 79 times sales. There's another stock out there, TSMC, that I think is going to do extraordinarily well. Both Nvidia and TSMC is going to do well going forward. I could be wrong about Palantir, but I think I'm not wrong. It's already came down a little bit. I think it's going to keep retracting down maybe another $10, $15, and then we'll hold there for a while. And then it will, maybe it can start going back up, maybe not. But I just think that it's a better deal right now because Nvidia's dip is more significant. The value's cheaper. Nvidia is still going 10 times more. It's going to take a lot longer than those 3 years that was before. But these things can set, TSMC and Nvidia over the next 10 years can set you up for life if you play it the right way. You have autonomous AI coming out. You have an army of robots coming out. You have reasoning systems. Nvidia and TSMC are going to be the backbone of what's coming next. I do got an event that's based on what's next in LA coming up soon. I'm going to announce the date here this next week. It's in, I forgot the theater. I told you what the theater was last week. It's a 1,000-person theater. It's going to be cool. I'm not going to tell you exactly what it is, but it's going to be in my events are experiences. It's not just the event. It's going to, when you walk into that theater, it's going to be like you walked into the future. So we're going to make sure we get the experience right. And we're going to talk about what's coming in the future, quantum computers. We're going to talk about what's coming in AI, EVs. We're going to talk about humanoid robotics. We're going to talk about blockchain technology. But we're also going to tell you which stocks and assets and investment strategies work alongside those innovations that are coming in the future. I'm a storyteller, so I like to put it in story mode, but we also give you the investment strategies and insight to make money and also be entertained and also be educated. So if anybody who here has come to one of my live events, really the Live Nation one was the best one so far. It was in New York. So Live Nation is doing this one too in LA, which is the same company that does Beyonce and Jay-Z's events and a lot of other superstars. So we do value production. Could you speak on Uniswap again? Yeah, I talked about Uniswap last session, and I just believe that Uniswap, once the retailer investors come into the market, which will be in the next 3 months, maybe sometime this summer, we're going to see Uniswap go up a lot because Uniswap is where people go to change different coins to other coins. It's not as easy as it was back in the past because there's different chains now. There just used to be one Ethereum. Now there's like Solana, there's Avalanche, there's a bunch of other ones. So that is one of the places that people will go in order to invest in a lot of meme coins and a lot of new tokens coming out. So somebody said you attended the Los Angeles one. The Los Angeles is going to be a lot better this time. When you be coming to Clarksville. I go to Clarksville all the time, but I don't think nobody in Clarksville will show up. People in Clarksville are a little different. You know that. You live there. I don't think they'd show up to nothing. I don't think they would, even if I did it for free. This is what's crazy. My old school, Austin Peay State University, they wrote me, and they said, we want you to do an event in Clarksville. And I said, yeah, I'll do an event in Clarksville. I'll do it for free. In fact, I'll pay for everything. That's what I told them. Because I really, want to help my own community where I'm from. So they presented it to the president. And this is how school systems will get you. The president of the school responded, and I got it in an email. I may post it one day. He said the students would rather be entertained and educated. And then he hired a rapper to come instead of me at a university. I have the email. But that's great. That shows you that these places that are meant to educate you are trying to entertain you and keep you distracted as long as they pump the money at you for 4 or 5 years. They don't care if you learn. All they're trying to do is get as much money out of you as possible. And they'll keep you distracted, entertained, high, and drunk, or whatever they ought to do, dopamine filled, to keep you going so that you keep spending that money. That's all they care about. They don't care about you getting educated. And this is a university, a state university. This is where I went. They took that money. I was going to pay for it, but they took the money and hired a rapper. The rapper came. It was actually a decent rapper. I forget his name, but it was a rapper came. Everybody. And so yeah, I'm a little bit, I may not come to OCP no more. Well, with that being said, it was Moneybag Yo. Yeah, it was Moneybag Yo. That's his name. They rejected me and hired Moneybag Yo. I didn't even heard of the dude before that. I'm not, I listen to rap, but not like that. I was like, oh, okay. The dude just told me it was Moneybag Yo. That's who it was. Yeah. So the dude told me, he said, look, man, we don't, the students rather be entertained. We're going to hire Moneybag Yo. That was crazy, right? Teapot said, you changed my life forever. I appreciate you, Teapot, and I'm glad I was able to help lead you in the right direction. I was paying. I was gonna pay for it, Versace. I was gonna pay for it. It was gonna be like 20,000 because the arena was free. So I was just gonna pay for some people to come, ushers and stuff like that, and just pay for my own flight and my team to come. It would have cost you like $10,000, maybe less. I asked for them to use the arena. That's because I wasn't gonna pay for that. But other than that, I was gonna pay. I said I would cover everything, the insurance and everything, because I just wanted to do something for my hometown. Yeah, and they told me no. So with that being said, I hope you guys have a great day. I really appreciate you. Uh, I'll see you guys next week and on Strategy Sunday on Instagram, Sunday at 9 o'clock.